Today, as I get up, watch all the different news programs, the overwhelming talk was about what's going on in Afghanistan. How terrible it was that we were leaving Afghanistan. How it was in such an disorganized manner, which is true, in the way we were leaving Afghanistan. Would it have been possible to do it in a more decent manner? I have no idea because, again, these people were going to be left with a government that was going to be less than optimal. A bad government, one who hates or wants to put women back into the Stone Age. All that is true. But you know what? Number one, we should not have been in Afghanistan in the first place. Number two, if we intended on making changes to how women were treated in Afghanistan or any other country that mistreats women worse than we do, uh, we have we had to get the buy-in of Americans and say, yes, we're going to go out there and change the world, make it a better world. But you know what? Ultimately, we can't. And the reality is the amount of time that we're spending now on this fiasco, and it's bad. I feel for the Afghani people. I honestly feel for them. But here's the thing. America also has its problems internally. And if Afghanistan, if the people in Afghanistan after 20 years are not going to stand up and fight for themselves, and that goes for any particular country, the reality is we cannot use our resources to fight for you, in as much as we played a big part in the current destabilization. Now, Afghanistan, we had no problems in spending trillions of dollars that ultimately went back to the defense contractors, that ultimately went into the coffers of the thieves who govern Afghanistan, the Afghanistanis government, the people there who ripped the country off as well. Well, by the way, let's not all just go out as they have corrupt leaders, because we do too. Our corrupt leaders, however, are just the facade for the corporatocracy who took the defense, the $2 or more trillion that was invested in Afghanistan. Most of that money going right back, if you follow the flow, right back into the corporate coffers of these defense contractors. So we have the money for that. And right now, all we're talking about is how we're leaving Afghanistan. But here's the thing, people. Here's the thing. We have problems at home that need people to know about. The Supreme Court, the purchased Texas Supreme Court, is allowing Greg Abbott, Governor Greg Abbott, Texas governor, to go ahead and continue his policies that are going to get thousands of Texans killed and maimed. That we need to talk about. Texans need to know that. Americans throughout the country need to understand what's going on in the COVID fight. They need to understand what we need to do to get rid of COVID, to make COVID something of the past, and concentration on the inevitability of what's occurring in Afghanistan ain't gonna cut it. We need to talk about COVID. We also need to talk about the people that are suffering. Yes, people are suffering in Afghanistan. They're going to be under the Taliban. They're going to be under a very poor government. But here in America, people are getting evicted. Our pandemic has left a certain percentage of our population in dire straits. And yes, you hear there are more jobs available than there are people willing to take these jobs. That is almost in these times like saying there are more jobs available where people can get hurt. People can get killed by taking these jobs because of the mitigation that we have for COVID and otherwise. Why do it? We also have the infrastructure, the human infrastructure plan that is in danger because we have 9 democratic, well, at least these are the honest ones. They are not really on board for this plan. We have 9 democratic Congress people that are saying, we don't want this plan. In other words, we don't want to give relief to the average American. We don't want to extend Medicare. We don't want to give family leave. We don't want to give parents the ability to subsidize their daycare so they can go to work. That's not what we're about. We want to build those bridges and those big heavy-duty cement projects whose monies are going to go right back into the coffers of the corporatocracy. Yes, a lot of people would get hired for those, but not near enough people that our $3.5 trillion well overdue budget or bill for human infrastructure, well overdue. Somehow there's a problem, but they don't see a problem in staying in Afghanistan where we've spent trillions. They don't see a problem in all these places where the corporatocracy rips us off. Folks, let's not stay on Afghanistan. Let's not allow our thoughts to simply think Afghanistan. The president has people in Afghanistan doing the best they can of a horrendous case. But let's not do that. Let's remember completely that Americans as well are suffering, that there's a lot to do here, that fighting in Afghanistan, as bad as women are going to have it in Afghanistan. You know, I wrote a piece for the Daily Kos, and somebody responded, maybe we should have elevated a woman as the president of Afghanistan and put the arms, the tanks, in the hands of women, because they have something to fight for, because the Afghani army sure didn't. And if the Afghani army is not willing to fight for their own country, to fight against a Taliban that wants to put women back into the Stone Age, who are we to go in there and think we can make a difference for a population not intent of making a difference in the aggregate? Folks, let's think about what we have to do here in America right now. Right now, we need to get the human infrastructure bill written correctly and passed. We also need to ensure that the killing governors, the governors that are getting their citizens maimed and hurt and killed, make sure to start working to get them out of office and ensure that we have laws passed that can protect the American citizenry from all these ills that are occurring right here in America. We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead, number one, subscribe to our channel, and number two, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.